Hello and welcome to this bonus ReeVlog. I am recording this before I go out because I just thought of it and I can get this started uploading before I go. I have been talking with one of my friends, and ages ago they made a point about, which is something my brother also says a lot, which is practice makes permanent. And I don't agree with that. There's also the phrase of practice makes perfect, which I also don't agree with. The reason I don't agree with either of them is because permanence and perfection are principles that I personally can't get behind. Perfection I have a bigger problem with, because if something is perfect, then it is best for everything, at all times. So, if there were a perfect thing, there would be no need for any other things. Thus, I don't believe in perfection, because I believe perfection could exist, I just don't think it does, and I also think it's incredibly improbable that it ever will. And if it does exist, then we haven't found it yet. Yeah. And then permanence, all signs point towards permanence being a thing that doesn't exist. Entropy is the best example. And I know that people don't mean actual permanence or perfection when they say it, hence why I let it go, but bad practice making bad permanence is something I don't get behind, because without practice you can't improve. Yes, if you practice the same thing without changing it at all, repetitively, then yes, that is the way you are going to do that thing going forward. But if you practice it and then improve, rather than just sticking with the same thing, you practice and realize this bit isn't as good as if I would do it that way, and then practice that way, and then keep going until you identify, okay, if I were to change doing this to doing this, then that would be even better. That's how people improve. I'm aware that you can do bad practice. I've done it for Kung Fu. It's why I don't practice as much as I used to, because I prefer to do practice well than to practice poorly. But every time that I go to Kung Fu, nearly, I ask my instructor, okay, so I'm practicing like this, is that right? And he'll say, no, you need to do this. And then they'll go back and be like, cool, I'm practicing like this, is that right? And he'll say, no, you need to do this. And then I'll practice like that, keep going. And that is how people improve. And there are certain things that you can improve by doing yourself. Martial arts is one of those things. However, one of the things you can't improve doing yourself is learning a skill, such as Kung Fu. Because if you improve something in the syllabus, you are not doing it the way you need to do to get that belt, which is something I have a problem with and will work on should I ever develop my own martial art, and potentially just for a grading system. But yeah, it's practice makes perfect and practice makes permanent. I'm not fans of those things. I say practice makes perfect a lot, just because I know other people don't have that issue, and it saves me saying, if you practice it and then discover ways to improve it throughout practicing it and repeat doing that, you will get better until you get to a point where you no longer seem to notice improvement, and that thus the value of the practice is limited due to the amount of time required in order to make marginal improvements, rather than doing other things that will improve it in other ways, such as, for martial arts again, fitness training. That's what I do more so than actual Kung Fu practice now, because that's the area I lack the most. The technical parts, I know, I just need to get my body to the point where I can do it. Anyway, I'm going to go for my walk now so I can think more clearly, though that particular thought process didn't seem too jumbled. Anyway, I will catch you cats on the flip-flop. Goodbye.